This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with guitarist Mona Lindgren and vocalist Guernica Mancini of the Swedish hard rock act, The Gems. If I knew absolutely nothing about The Gems, Mona, how would you describe the band's music to me?
We play classic rock with influences from great bands such as Queen, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, but we try to do it in a modern touch, so the production is a little bit more modern, clear sound, a very we think a little bit more like pop music when we write the songs, but they will still be guitar bass with riffs and great drumming and amazing vocals. Guernica has the most amazing rock vocals in the business. So that's what I would describe it like.
I think that sums it all up after listening to your upcoming album, Phoenix, which comes out on January 26th through Napalm Records. Guernica, the album's title, Phoenix, kind of represents the journey that you three have been on since the, I'm going to call it, implosion of Thundermother.
Yeah, that's completely right. Since January 2023. Yeah. So what was the question? What Phoenix represents our journey. That's kind of how we see ourselves now. Stronger, more beautiful, better. Everything feels better now that we are a few months or almost a year from the implosion. And we felt that Phoenix was the perfect symbol for that whole journey, because we never had any intentions on quitting music or stopping or nothing like that. So yeah, Phoenix was just the perfect symbol for all of it.
When it came to crafting the album, did everybody have their own role? Like Mona, you took care of the guitar stuff. Guernica, you took care of the lyrics, or did everybody kind of contribute a little bit of everything?
Team effort, I'd say.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I mean, I did some lyrics, and I did not do all the guitar riffs, for example. Emily did some guitar riffs. Guernica had a song which she wrote everything on, and we took it in and rewrote it. I had a song written 11 years ago. We rewrote that one together, and also we wrote the rest of the songs we wrote together in sessions. So all together. So everything is a team effort. And I don't do all the guitars only because I'm the guitarist. We share.
Guernica, the first single released from the album was Like a Phoenix. It was kind of a teaser to kind of test the waters, and it worked out because you got some great feedback from it, great feedback from the video. So it must have been quite exciting to know that you guys were going to be all right.
Yeah, it was amazing, actually. It's a beautiful thing, you never know how people are gonna, take to you and your music. And I feel like we've more or less only have had really positive feedback. People are really excited. They like what we did in Thundermother, and we kept doing what we did in Thundermother, but even more free, even better, I'd say. Because we were creatively much freer, and that in itself gives you more happiness and joy creating and having fun with music. So this whole journey, and that single especially, but it's has given us all a lot of happiness back in music, because that was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of gone for me, at least for a long time. I was just kind of going through the motions, and now it's actually really exciting and fun to do music again. So yeah, I think it was really fun to see that people enjoyed that song, and also going out with such a powerful energetic song was really important for us too, to show people we're not like depressed. Like, yes, we were depressed and we're still going through it, but we are excited like women, and we are here and we want to play really exciting, fun rock and roll music. And Phoenix is just that.
Mona, another fun rock and roll song that you guys have out now is Psycho. You even have a fun video to go along with it. Was it the band's concept for the video, or was it the director's concept?
I would say we kind of are our own directors, because
We are
otherwise,
the directors.
if anyone else would be the director, they would be like, no, don't do this idea. This is our we have, sometimes we dress up like old men playing jazz, the GL Johansson Lindgren trio. And you can see in the video it's a jazz band and their manager. So the manager represents the psycho person. So psycho would be a person who takes up all the energy in the room. You see their manager is just sniffing the money, which it takes from the band all the time. The band never gets any money. He pops the champagne, he laughs very loud. So in that particular scene, it's a manager who's a psycho, and we are dressed up like these pink ladies who are probably psychos, all of them. And we have this like generic rock band with a person who is an energy thief there. So it was just a fun idea we had to like picture a party situation with some energy vamps in there.
Your current single out now is Undiscovered Paths. Guernica, if you want to talk a little bit about the inspiration for the lyrics for that song.
Undiscovered Paths. Yeah. This is actually the song that Mona had written 11 years ago that we rewrote. I don't want to call it a joker, but it's the standout song on the whole record, I'd say. And lyrically, it's about, kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, like a positive. It's melancholic and, maybe not the obvious pep song, but it's, you get into weird situations, but having the hopefulness of like, it's gonna be okay, and, kind of letting go of things, like letting things be in the past, like, okay, this happened, let's move on and look forward. And yeah, I think that's it's a very important positive message, because most people go through rough times. I mean, that's just having a human experience. And for us, it was obviously last year with the band and the breakup and all that stuff. But I think anyone can relate to having to be in a situation that's really shitty and to still be able to kind of, hope for a better day. I think that's what the song is about.
Was there a reason why this song hadn't seen the light of day in 11 years or so?
Me and Emily had a band back then, but and we were more like influenced by modern rock, like Muse, for example, and we wrote a lot of songs. But then we decided to do other things in life. I started studying, and Emily also wanted to start studying, and it wasn't the right time for us back then. And I'm happy for it now that I've grown as a musician, and I've done all these things along the way. And it's pretty amazing. Our paths joined again, like 10 years later, and we have this project now together. And both of us have educations also.
Now we have education.
As someone who's a fan of Thundermother, listening to this album, the song titles, the lyrics, and kind of following what went on with Thundermother to get you to this point, I feel like a lot of these songs are in reference to the negative experiences throughout Thundermother, and then kind of the positive experience that led you to the gems. And I think some listeners might make that same connection. Am I way off, or am I close?
No, you're pretty close, but we have more reference to the songs than only Thundermother. I mean, when I think of a song called, for example, Ease Your Pain, I also think about like not only what happened to us, but it's a song about seeing a friend in any situation going through a really tough time, for example. And I mean, Psycho is more about the overall feeling of like energy vampires.
Yeah.
You know, what would you say, Ganika?
About like the I think I mean, obviously we wrote this album with an open flesh wound still, you know, like not even barely healing. And so obviously it has been a very cathartic thing writing all these songs because it has gotten you through the pain. And listening to the album, you can basically hear like all the stages of grief because we went through them all. And I think that that's actually amazing and something that most creative people do. Like they use their own experiences to write about them. But like Mona said, I think as much as, yes, it has a lot to do with Thundermother, a lot of situations are work on, you know, million different of settings or whatever, life situations. It doesn't necessarily have to do with just being in a band and, you know, having a weird situation with an old bandmate, you know, life.
Example, Running, which is a song that Gernika wrote. She wrote that for her solo project long
Yeah.
before we were a band, even so. And we rewrote it so it would fit the sound of our new band. So that song wasn't written after the breakup, you know, and Phoenix was written for Thundermother's Black and Gold, actually. So
Yeah, but we rewrote it so it would fit our current situation, obviously. But I think that with the Phoenix song, it's that was a song that I really fought hard to get on the Black and Gold album, and there was just one person that didn't want it there. And now I'm actually really happy that it turned out the way it did, because then we could pick it up again and write it so it fit the situation we were in, and it just became the perfect first song for us. But can I ask you a question back? Because I'm like confused about the question. Like, you being a Thundermother fan, is that something that then upsets you, or is it actually like an excitement seeing that you can move on and, you know, create something positive, you know, through that experience? Or
I would say that there's room for everybody, but I didn't become a Thundermother fan until Heatwave. I didn't like the albums before that. I didn't like the sound. I didn't like the singer. It really came on during Heatwave. That's when you joined, of course. And then the last album was on par, I thought, with Heatwave. I'm curious to see what the next version of Thundermother is, but I'm usually drawn to the singers, so we'll see.
yeah. Thank you.
and if you like the songs on the Heatwave and Black and Gold, I think people should know that Emily and Gernika started writing songs. They were allowed to be part of the songwriting for those album, and they wrote the songs like equally much than with the rest of the band. They wrote it together by then. So if people like the songs and the sounds from Heatwave and Black and Gold, that's then they like what Emily and Gernika do.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So that's good. That's a positive thing, though. So you like the era that we were part of in Thundermother, then hopefully, because obviously Thundermother is never going to be able to sound the same way. I'm not saying that it's not going to be as good or whatever, but it's going to be completely different. So whatever your taste is, then at least what you liked in Thundermother is continuing on under another name.
absolutely, and I get that same feel that I got from the last two Thundermother albums on the latest Gems album, Phoenix. Moving on, how did you guys end up signing with Napalm Records to release the album?
We had a really good vibe with them, and we we got a record deal that we were very happy with from Napalm. So we were in the discussion with a few different labels, and we felt really good with Napalm.
Yeah, they reached out early on. Like there was a few labels that reached out, like even before we had decided on the band name. And that's kind of, I mean, that's been amazing for, I guess, all of our egos and self-esteems and everything, because people have seen how much we actually individually have been important for the old sound and stuff like that. Because that's kind of, I think that's a testament of, yeah, people actually, people that know music can hear the difference and know, I think, can figure out kind of how much influence we've had or not had or whatever. And I think that especially Napalm knew this and was wanting to give us a chance, and and that feels really good.
You have an album release party coming up in Stockholm on the 26th. Are you going to play the whole album, parts of the album? How's it going to play out?
All
We're
of
gonna
it.
play the whole album.
That's quite the feat with 17 tracks.
Yeah. We're working on how to build the show right as we speak, like we might have the interludes played back or whatever, but we want to try to set it up so it's like a proper show. I don't think we will be able to take it on the road exactly because we're gonna have pyro. We're gonna try to maximize this event. But yeah, it's nice to finally be able to play all your songs, because that's something that we've never been able to do before. So now that we actually can, and I'm not saying that it's super easy for us either, because we did have some issues when we did the first rehearsal with Force of Nature, because it's a tricky song, different melodies and keys, and it's a tricky song, but I'm confident that it's all gonna, on the 26th, sound really good.
Mona, you had a warm-up gig in Germany not too long ago. How did that go?
It went really good. We had we combined this show with a PR trip, so we had a really nice visit at Star FM, which is a great rock radio in Germany, and then we played this festival, and we saw all the familiar faces from when we were touring with Thundermother, and now they support us, and it feels really great. We met our dear friend Otti, who it was his birthday bash this festival, so we celebrated his birthday, and he got a cake, a cake that pictured the breasts of a woman. Very nice cake. Drank a lot of Keller beer, and then the day after we went back to Hamburg and met our fans. So that's we really love to meet our fans. So we decided to fly back a little bit later in the evening so that we could arrange a fan hangout, a meet and greet. So it's nice to just see the faces of all the people who write to you on the internet, and just meet them, hug them, and talk to them. They have a lot of questions, of course, and like about the album, and also we played the album for them in the bar. So we just listened to the album on repeat, and that was a great day.
Guernica, what are the plans for touring after the album release party?
We actually had a long meeting with our European booking agent earlier today. We are going to have a longer tour in the fall. We will release dates pretty soon, but I guess that's relative. You'll have some dates by March. But yeah, I think we're doing a showcase next week in Sweden as well, which is for all the Swedish and the Scandinavian booking agencies and stuff like that. So we're hoping to, our main focus is going to be spring, summer, Scandinavia. And we're doing some festivals, like we were playing Reload Festival in Germany. And then a 4-week long, I think it's almost 5-week long tour in the fall. We don't know exactly. But yeah. So we hope to get out there when the album is out and people start, you know, understanding. And like if it hopefully goes really well, and it's going to be easier for us to also book these things.
I know it's difficult for a lot of bands coming out of European territories to tour the US. Is it even more difficult when you're a newly formed band to kind of get tour support in the US?
Yes, it's hard. The hardest thing is almost getting the visa, because in order to get a visa, you need to have a booked tour, and you need to apply for it like 1 year before, because they are so slow with the visas after Corona. So that was our problem when we didn't get the visa in time for the Scorpions tour, that they didn't have interview times at the embassy since Corona. So they offered us an interview after the tour was over. But we used kind of a, it's not interesting, but we managed to.
Sorry.
But it was very, very hard to get it financially, to get it work financially, the US tour. It's especially for a small band like us, you need to have support from your record label in order to make it work.
What inspired the band name The Gems?
You guess?
You have a guess?
Yeah.
I know the answer, but the people
Okay.
don't know the answer.
It's our initials. It's Guernica, Emily, and Mona, and then we added an S because we're 3, plural. Sexy, huh?
Works for me. I speaking of sexy, I saw you got that new mascot.
I'm wearing her today, Gemma. Look at this nice chica.
That's usually a UK thing. How did that come to be in Sweden?
Emily is a huge Iron Maiden fan, and I was doing a show in November, whatever. I was doing a show a few months ago, and at this thing, I met a designer, a tattoo artist, and I like to talk, so I was talking about all these crazy ideas and blah, blah, blah. Like, we want to have our own Eddie in the future, and I was just throwing out these things, and a few weeks later, he sent it to us. He was like, "Oh, I did what we talked about. I created this mascot because I told him we wanted a female Eddie, basically." And he did exactly that. And he gave this design to us. Amazing. Check out Crew Tattoo on Instagram. And we want this to be the beginning of our mascot, because why not have a mascot? And Eddie is aging. I mean, obviously he's cartoon, so he doesn't age, and he's already dead. But but it's really cool to have something that could be, you know, seen as maybe his daughter, and maybe we could see that legacy for us as well, having that being part of our merchandise and stuff like that. So yeah,
and it's cool to have merchandise for every style, you know. Our German heavy metal fans, they love this T-shirt, for example, and my girlfriends in Sweden, they might not like it, but they like our color, the logo T-shirt. So we wanna create something for everyone that they want to wear, and like all sizes, different styles.
Yeah, something for everyone.
Absolutely. And I think the gems are something for everyone. Those are all the questions I have for you today. Guernica and Mona. The new album by the Gems is Phoenix. It comes out January 26th on Napalm Records. I do enjoy it. Keep up the good work, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.